Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. We got the one and only Mr. Todd Baldwin back. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely, man. So we're going to have some fun. As you know, I have a private Facebook group called One Rental at a Time Works. Every Sunday, I do this community video where I take different questions and put them out in the world so others can just see all the amazing stuff. I'm going to take two questions from that and ask you and I to talk about them and let those folks know that they have some special answers. So you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, so I have to share my computer. Just give me one sec. And I will share this bigger. All right, so you can see this?
I can.
I will read it because this may end up on a podcast and they'll be like, what are you talking about? So here we go. Question. At what point do you pay down the debt versus purchasing more property? I am 55 years old and have 10 or more years of working a W-2. I currently own 4 rental properties and contemplating moving to 10 rental properties in total within the 10 years before I retire. At my age, do I focus on paying down the debt to increase my monthly net, or do I purchase more rentals for appreciation? All credit goes to Zuber. I would not be here at this point without your mentorship. So again, we don't know lots of things. There's obviously, if we were going to do this, we would ask more questions. Sorry, no questions. This is all you know. What do you think, Todd?
Okay, well, if he was talking about like credit card debt, I would say pay down the debt. If he's talking about student loans or like, oh, I have a car payment, I would say pay down the debt. If he's specifically talking about the debt is a loan that he has on his real estate, which it sounds like that's what he's talking about, man, I think I would say buy more property. And I'll tell you why. Right now, interest rates, I mean, I don't know what his interest rates are, but I'm going to assume they're around 3% because that's what they are, right? Interest rates are at 3%. The inflation rate is at 7% at the time we're recording this video. So with inflation at 7%, if you can borrow money at 3% in today's dollars and then pay it off over 30 years with future dollars that are less valuable because of inflation, personally, if you know what you're doing, I would want to borrow as much as I possibly can now at 3%, get a tenant in there, have them pay off that loan, and let the house rise in value.
Yeah, I don't think there's any answer at this point. Again, if he was going to be retiring in 10 months, it might be a different answer, but this is 10 years. And folks, if you don't know, something I spent a day of my life creating is a 50-year spreadsheet that went all the way back to 1970. If you go back and look at the 70s, which was the last time we had inflation raging this high for this long, there was only one winner. The S&P 500 from 73 to 82, which is a 10-year period, went down 1 point over 10 years. Talk about dead money. Real estate went up 100% because of wages. So, and that was in a rising rate environment of 300 basis points or 3 percentage points. So what I would be doing is I don't know if I would necessarily get to 10, but I would certainly get to 5, and then I would get to 6. I would get 30-year fixed rate debt. I would let inflation be my friend. And the reason we talk about 4 and 10, because that's definitely Mike Zuber speak. 4 is life-changing. It was easy to get those loans, even in the depths of the Great Recession. 10 is possible today. So my answer, like yours, is go get as much cheap-ass 30-year money you can. And then, hey, in 8 years, let's say you have 7, you're kind of done. You could always sell one, pay off a bunch, and you get to your debt-free anyway, and you have more assets. So again, we don't know anything but what is written here. I think the answer without question is buy another property. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what I started with. I will like, if the question is what's better mathematically, it's buying more property. If the question is what's going to be better for your mental health and help you sleep at night, that completely depends on you. If having debt on a bunch of property freaks you out, then sure, pay it off. But mathematically speaking, then you can't argue with the numbers. It would be much better mathematically to buy more property.
Totally agree. We got one more to go through. Let me just page down here. So here's another one. Question. When I figure cash on cash, or what I call yield in my course, I use 30-year to pay off, 30-year loans. I'm considering my next note to lock in at 15-year loan at 4%, as opposed to a 30-year. Again, rates are up, folks. I've been telling you this is coming at almost 5. It takes the cash on cash from 13% to 3%, Is this a poor idea? I do not need the money now. I'm still working my W-2. I am 51 and just want them paid off before I retire. So we got a little bit more, but kind of the same deal. What do you think on this one?
Oh boy, that's a good question. You know, personally, when I buy real estate, I buy it mostly for the cash flow, and then the appreciation is like a bonus. And so I try to get my monthly payment lower, meaning I'm probably borrowing for a longer period of time. I borrow for 30 years. However, I'm 29 and this dude is 51. And if his goal is to have the house paid off by the time he's 65, well, then a 15-year loan would do that. Right. Where a 30-year loan might not do that. You know, he could probably if he got a 30-year loan at almost 5%, sometime within that period, he could refinance for a lower rate because rates are going to go up, they're going to go down. Man, I don't know. I mean, me right now would just do the 30-year loan, and I would just make sure my rent covers it, and I would, get the cash flow and everything. But again, I'm in my 20s and he's in his 50s and he wants it paid off before he retired. So perhaps the 15-year route is better, but what do you think?
I would never do a 15-year loan. I'll just say it right now. I think you have to prepare yourself for industrial strength. I have lived through the Great Recession. I have seen events happen. Once you're locked into a 15-year mortgage and you have a whoops event, health, job loss, whatever, you're locked into a 15-year loan. There's no rule against having a 30-year loan and paying it off early. I don't even go the refi route. Let's just assume rates only go up from here, right? Let's assume they're 6, 7, 8, 9%. A 30-year loan is still the right answer for me. It gives you the greatest flexibility. If you really want to feel good, you can pay every other week. I mean, there's so many ways that you can have the flexibility of a 30-year loan and still pay it off early. Yes, I know the rate is higher, but for me, I want the greatest flexibility. I don't see, again, unless it's my primary residence. If it's my primary residence, I could see a 15-year loan. We're talking investment. We're talking return on capital. If it goes from 13 to 3, in my world, that goes from a great deal to a bad deal, and I don't do bad deals. If you're following my course, the goal is to learn average and only do good or great. If your debt structure changes and makes the deal bad, I don't do that deal. It is black and white to me. Again, everybody has their own thing. If you're Dave Ramsey and you hate debt and this keeps you up at night, do your thing. But you asked me for my opinion, and my opinion is pretty black and white.
I got to agree.
Very, very cool. This is fun. I will let both of these folks know that 2 of my experts gave answers to this. But before we do that, how can people find you?
Yes. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it is @Todd J. Baldwin. And if you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's just Todd Baldwin.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.